Here's a short recap of Part 4 of the Frogger miniseries. First, create an animation folder in the content drawer called Anim. Next, create an animation blueprint, select the Frogger skeleton mesh, and let's title it ABP_Frogger. Then, open the animation blueprint and create two variables called speed and isAirborne. We can call the getMovementComponent function and get a reference to the player's velocity and use that vector's length to populate our speed variable. Let's also call the isFalling function from the getMovementComponent node to populate our isAirborne Boolean variable. Now let's head into our Anim graph and create a state machine that we'll call Locomotion. Open the state machine and add three states called idle, jump, and falling. With your states created, drag connection lines between each node and make sure you have a pathway there and back so our animations can transition in any direction. Open each state and add in the animation from our asset browser and hook up the execution pins. For the idle and jump animations, we'll set those to loop, but for the falling animation, we'll set that one's play rate to be 0 so it's paused, and then we'll set the start position to be 0.5 so it starts mid-animation. Then we can populate the transition rules for each of the states by using our speed and isAirborne variables we created earlier. To enter the falling state, we should check if the isAirborne is true. While exiting the state, we should simply check if isAirborne is false. To enter our jump state, which is actually our movement state, we should simply check if the speed variable is greater than 1. And to exit, we can check if the speed variable is less than or equal to 1. Finally, open the player blueprint and select the character mesh and populate our animation blueprint in the details panel. Launch the game and test out the animations. We found that the jump animation was a bit slow, so we adjusted the play rate for the jump state to be 1.5, and that looked much better. And just like that, we created our animations for our player blueprint. Stay tuned for Part 5.